So the whole 24 by 32 cabin framing package looks like in one truckload. Man, they loaded that thing to the hilt. This guy's doing a really good job of peeling apart this package and setting it up for me. It's good to have a driver that understands how a house is built. So see here, he's got my treated plywood, 8-foot 2x6s. That'll be for the crawl space. See, these boxes are pocket doors. I'm putting those in downstairs to save space. I don't want doors being left open and being in the way, so I'll put pocket doors in. So there's my materials. I got all these long 2x6s. Imagine those are all for plate, you know, top plate on the wall and bottom plate. Put a double top plate on the wall. And then I've got this pressure treated wood. This will actually be the first thing that goes down onto the footings. 2x12s, those are all my rafters that I'm going to build for the roof. I got a lot of 2x4s, it looks like, for plate, for interior walls, and whatever. I have a list of where everything goes. When I do my material lists, I build the place on paper, so I'll have everything. It'll be pretty easy for me to sort it out. And then I'm using these BCI floor joists, full span all the way across the floor. And then these will be my rim joists. And then I got an extra rim for when I do my stairwell. You know, I'll have to cut out some of these, and so I'll have a nice smooth rim for those. This is BCI's. One of them's damaged, but it's for the amount of material I got. One damaged BCI is no big deal. If I can't use it, I just take it back and they'll give me another one. So, and then over here, see here, I got the sill seal. Actually, this will go down first. This will go down before the treated wood. I got nails. These are 8-penny. I use galvanized nails on everything because they hold really well. Even though I don't need galvanized nails on the interior framing, I still use them. I just like the way they hold. These are 12-penny framing nails, 3 1/4 inch. That's just what I like. You know, they have 3 1/2 inch. Some guys use 3 inch. I like the 3 1/4s. These are my 15-degree coil nails. I have a gun that shoots those. They are also galvanized, and that's what I'll use to nail that siding on with. And then this is my glue that I use to glue down the subfloor, which I think is what's underneath this. This is all, I think this is my, yeah, it's all 3/4. So this is all my 3/4 inch tongue and groove, so it locks together real well. You see here, one side's a groove, and then the other side will have a tongue, and it just slides in there, locks it together. I glue the top of my floor joists. Before I put this down, it gets rid of squeaks pretty good. And then this is the siding that we're going to use on the house. So it's just your standard T111 8-inch, 8 inches in between the lines there. I got 9-foot panels so that the siding will actually come down over this, all the joists, and it'll actually go up and catch the second floor joist a little bit. And then since I'm doing a pony wall upstairs, I'll cut these in half for the upper part on the eave walls running this way. I might be a little short on the gables. I didn't really take the time to figure those out 100%, but and this is all my treated plywood. I got 5/8 treated plywood for doing around the outside of the pony wall that we're going to build. And then underneath here is the extra subfloor. You know, I got subfloor going on 2 levels, so it's going to be quite a bit. And then over here, I got a bunch of 8-foot 2x4s and 8-foot 2x6s. Right here, there's these 4 here. You can see they're a little short, so these are pre-cut studs. They pre-cut them 92 and 5/8. And that's standard for an 8-foot wall. And then over here is a whole stack of pre-cuts. So that's what we're going to frame our walls up with. And then here I have a bunch of 7/16 OSB on the upstairs interior of this house. That's where the boys are going to be. Instead of doing sheetrock, I'm going to do OSB. And I found that if you prime it really well, you can texture it just like sheetrock and paint it, and you won't even be able to tell the difference. So the nice thing is that you can't get any holes in the walls, really. We have a place up in Talkeetna that's remote, and that's what's up there is OSB that's been primed and textured and painted, and you can't tell, you know. So yeah, the guy did great unloading. Like, I like how I could see what this all is, and I know where every single one of these boards is gonna go. So yeah, we're ready to rock and roll now. It's about 3 o'clock or so on a Monday. So I don't know, I might start today or tomorrow, we don't know yet, but yeah, it's all here now. I need to pick up a bigger generator, because all I have is a little suitcase generator. I could totally build this with it, but I wouldn't be able to run the saw and the compressor at the same time, and that gets really frustrating when you're trying to work really fast. And that's kind of how I like to frame is I like to frame houses up fast and make a dry spot right away, so I don't want anything slowing me down. So that's what I'm going to do, is get a bigger generator, and we'll get the ball rolling on this. Yep. So I had to get a bigger generator. I knew I was going to have to get one anyways to power this cabin we're building, but I thought I could get started with my little one. This is a 6,500 watt Generac. I don't know. Hopefully it's a good one. We got a wall up last night. We just wanted to see how it would go. I had Leif measure and hand cut the first 16 feet of this wall, and then I kind of helped them with the rest of it. That's a pretty good sign there. Got good bubble. So now what I'm gonna do, because I gotta cut a bunch of these little 43.5-inch studs, set up a compound miter saw. Usually I have a cut table, but I got rid of the one that I had, so I got to make a new one. I just screwed it down to this bunk of plywood, and then I got this block of wood here. So it's like a jig that's set. These studs are 43.5 inches. So from that edge of the blade to that block is 43.5. Now we could just grab the boards off the pile, slide them to the block, and cut them real fast. So that should go a lot quicker. So that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm just gonna go through here and blast out all these little short studs I gotta have, and then set the rest of the plate, mud sill plate, and frame it up and get ready to drop the floor on. So that's what we're up to. So I forgot to put the seal down before I framed the wall up. So my wife's putting it down. I went ahead and put the wall together though, so I could just tip it over in one unit, and then we'll just pick it back up over the sill seal. Yeah. So I got the pony wall all framed up. Double top plate. Do a lap, backwards lap. So the bottom piece, lapping it like this, it helps tie the two walls together right here on the corner. And then I go ahead and notch this plate for this wall to come in here. So it just locks it all together. I like doing it that way. I got a dip in my wall right here, so somewhere down on the plate. I'll have to loosen up those nuts and maybe shim it up a little bit. But I'll stick a BCI on there and bring the wall up to the bottom of the BCI. And then this wall here, it's got a dip right there. I'll have to address it. But other than that, it came out pretty good. It's level. And I just need to brace it off. So I'm not going to sheet it until my walls are up and my walls are sheeted, just because I don't want the sheeting on my walls to be affected by the plywood that's already on here. I'd rather tip the walls up with the sheeting on them, have that sheeting, well, it'll hang down halfway onto the joists, and then I'll come back later and bring my treated plywood up to the bottom of that, just so I don't have to fight it while I'm tipping the walls. So it's a pretty good day today. I haven't framed in a while, so I'm a little bit rusty, but we stripped the inside footings, form boards off, and kind of cleaned it up a little bit. And yeah, got it framed up, ready to, like I said, I'll plumb it, line it, brace it off, and I have to cut 25 BCIs, 2.5 inches short of 24 feet. So that'll take a little bit of time. I don't know how long it'll take me to cut the BCIs. I was gonna try to find my thing here so I can show you guys how I do these. Anyways, I don't know where my paper is. So when I do a takeoff, I build the house on the piece of paper. And so like for this pony wall, I had a separate, it's the pony wall, first floor, second floor, roof. That's how I do it, and the foundation. So those are all separate material takeoffs. So then when it's time for me to build, when I have a huge pile of lumber like this, I keep that paper around. Obviously I don't, because I can't find it now, but somewhere. And I just go back to that sheet. So that sheet tells me, you need 16 footers for plate. You need, whatever for studs. Because I had to cut all these. The studs for the first floor are already pre-cut when I buy them. So tells me everything I need. So I peel all that off of the piles. And then I just use that material that I had written down whenever I built this place on paper. And then a lot of times what I'll do is halfway through or so, I'll go back through and I'll do a material count just to make sure that I'm following my own rule, the best I can. I was really tight on this takeoff. This is building a house for me. When I build a house for customers, I usually throw in a lot more bracing. I didn't, so I'm going to use some of my 2x4 plate, interior plate, to brace this off. And then once I get it sheeted, it'll be pretty rigid once I get the floor on. And then I can pop those off and reuse them inside the house when I'm framing up the interior walls. Well, yeah, I put in a good day today, I feel. I got a lot of help from my family. My wife was out here putting the sill seal on, and she went through and put all these bearing plates on, which are the big square washers, and then put the nuts on and tightened them down. So that's real helpful, because that's kind of one of them tedious things that, stops you from framing, and you got to do that. And then Orion and Lucian, they stripped the forms. I helped them a little bit. cleaned them all up and we stacked them over there by that snow machine. So we'll use those, for other things here. I didn't order any headers for my windows, so I'm going to build all my headers out of some of them form boards. And yeah, coming right on. Leif pulls layout, so he's good as long as I haven't showed him how to do if there's windows and doors and stuff, but he gets the standard 16-inch center layout, and he's good at it. So I go back through and check because I want all the studs are going to be the same all the way up the house, so I don't want them to look staggered or anything. So he did good on the layout, and I told him that's a good layout, man, is very, very important on the job site. So once we get on the floor here, and I'll show him how to lay out for windows and doors, and see if I can't get him, confused. Well, yeah, that's what we got going on. So we're all framed up on our pony wall, and we plumb and lined it. So what I do is I plumb up the corners and then I throw a brace. Plumb up the other corner, throw a brace, then I run a string line. And I like to hold my string line out 1.5 inches, so I always nail one of these blocks here. That way, if the wall is way out, it won't touch the line. But these walls weren't bad. This one was like 1/4 inch in, so I had to pull it out 1/4 inch in the center, and we're good. That one there was about 1/2 inch, the one over there. So I just ran braces in the middle, pulled it out, and it's nice and straight. Same with this. I did have an issue last night. I framed this wall up, and when I walked away, I was looking back, and I noticed I had a hump in it. So it's down there in the footing. So what I ended up taking these studs out, and you can see I got numbers here. My number was 43.5, so I ended up cutting these, just to get this plate to lay down. That's part of my realization of being a little bit older is I have limits. In the past I would have stayed and I would have worked this footing until midnight if that's what it took to get it perfectly flat, but I just didn't have the gas after we poured it on top of the work I'd been doing before that. So I just let it go because I knew that whatever kind of issues there were, I could take care of them. And I guess that's one of the problems with being experienced is what you can get away with, so sometimes it makes you a little lazy. So what I did here is I'm cutting BCIs now, getting ready to do this, and you see here I lined up this edge here on all of them, and I left them tight, stacked together. You see how they stack these things, they're all laced together really well. So I squared this edge up with big square, and then I pulled my number, which is 2.5 inches less than 24 feet, because I'm putting this rim on, and each one of these is 1.25 inches a piece. And I go ahead and take a little 1/8 off anyways on top of that. So just so I'm not fighting it. And then I came down here with my number, and then I just cut through the top of all of these, and that'll give me a mark of where I put my square to cut the rest of them. In the past, on the big job sites I've been on, I've cut whole stacks of these with chainsaw. It works when you're in a hurry, and it's what they call quick and dirty, but I'm not really here for that. So I'm going to try to keep it a little more accurate, but I did get a nice score line. So each one I flip over, I'll put my big square on there, make a mark, and finish cutting it. I put layout on the wall. So the top and bottom flange, here's a piece right here of this BCI. You see it's wider than our 1.5 inch stud. So this is 2.25 inches. So when you anytime you do a layout, you take away half of whatever it is, the material you're putting on, and that's where you put your mark. So when I do my wall stud layout, I come over to 16 inches. I want that to be in the center, so I hold it back 3/4 inch, and that's where I make my mark, and I know that's where the edge of that stud goes. 3/4 being 1/2 inch. So up here on my BCI layout, I find center, and since these are 2 1/4 inches wide, I go back 1 1/8 and make my mark. Now I could do the whole 15 1/4, and then the edge of my BCI would line up with the stud, but I'm real anal about my layout. So I want the center of this BCI to line up with the center of this stud. And that's just, you know, I've done jobs where you just do a keel mark on the top plate, drop the BCI there and nail it, because they have such a wide flange. You know, you're not going to be that far off. You'll still catch the plywood, but I'm kind of running a class here at the same time that I'm building this, so I'm trying to show the boys how to do everything, you know, 100% right. And then when they want to come up with their own little quick and dirty ways, that's up to them. But yeah, so we're moving right along. It was blistering hot yesterday. It's going to be blistering hot today, and that slows me down a little bit. But good thing I'm not getting paid by the square foot on this job. I'd be starving to death. But yeah, I did, you know, I did 112 feet of wall yesterday. We stripped the forms and everything. So, I mean, that's pretty good, really. In my opinion, it don't matter how big the wall is. It's all the same moves framing it up. You're going to get a bottom plate and you're going to get a double top plate. The only difference in this wall, there's no windows, headers, and doors. So I feel like I could probably, on a good day, we'll just see. I could probably get all the exterior walls up in a day, because that's 112 feet of wall. So we'll just see. You know, I'm not going to hurry it, because I want this place to be really nice. But, you know, I said a 60-day turnkey. I still think I could do a 60-day turnkey. I don't know that it's going to be 60 consecutive days. I guess I should kind of say it like that, because, like, tomorrow, I'm not even going to be here, you know. So we're going to go in. My youngest son's birthday is on the solstice, and we're going to go into Anchorage and get a hotel with a swimming pool, and just kind of get away from camp for a little bit. So look at Nala needs to get away too. Look at her. Oh, my bean. Nala, you want to cross the creek? Huh? You ready to cross that creek? Yeah, wants to cross the creek. It's my mountain dog. She's ready to go up the creek, get ready to cross the creek and go in the mountains, huh? Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what we're doing today. I don't know. We're going to try to get all the joists rolled and see if we can get some of that subfloor on. Ryan's getting the BCIs on. A certain way to do that, and he's doing just fine. So, got the first wall framed, just stick framed. I still got to put, I'll put Tyvek on it, and I'll put the siding on it while it's laying down, and then I'll tip the whole thing up. You see here, I used my form boards. I didn't order any headers for this package because I knew I would use these. So I ripped them down and sandwiched them with two 2x6s to make like a C-channel, which is strong enough and gives me plenty of room to insulate on the inside. Here in Alaska, they want you to use 4x12s as your header, and they're heavy and they don't allow you enough room to insulate on the back side, and I think they're overkill in my opinion. So maybe if you have like a big window, like a 6-footer, you might want to use one of those. This is the eave. This will be the eave side, so the roof is going to come down like this. So this does hold the weight, has more weight on it than that's going to be the gable end, which so the wall comes up, then the roof is going to go like that. But I'm putting a 12-12 pitch on this, so there's not going to be a lot of weight on these walls. So anyways, yeah. First wall, 32 foot. Yeah, it's ready to put the Tyvek on and put the siding on. I still got to I'll put another top plate on here also before I put the Tyvek on, and I'll square it up. So yeah, I'll put the top plate on, square it up, put the Tyvek on, put the siding on. I won't cut the windows out for the simple fact that we could change our mind on how we want the window opening. So I try not to cut the windows out. And if I'm building for somebody else, I want them to see what the windows look like from the inside of the house. And then if they want to change them, it's easy to change them without, because if you cut the siding out and you got to change the window, then you got to change the siding too. So I'm just going to solid sheet it with so we got the deck on. The boys are stocking the deck with the lumber we're going to need to build the first 2 walls. We're going to build this 32-foot wall and then another 32-foot wall on the other side. Come out pretty good. Plumb and string the rim. Make sure everything's good there. Well, yeah, they're stacking wood, all in lumber. Lace my layout guy, so as soon as he's done, he'll come up on the deck and help me lay these walls out. He did good on this wall, just running the 16 centers. Now I'm going to show him how to lay a wall out that's got windows and doors in it. So that'll be another learning thing for him, for everybody really. They'll be all up there while I'm doing it. So now I'm getting ready to snap my line 5.5 inches over all the way down. So Lace making California corner for a wall partition. All right. Is that flush? That looks pretty good. Good enough. Lou laid out all the studs. He lays them out for us. Got a couple, we got a wall partition there. And another one right here. So, yeah. Yep. Late's learning to be a framer. 11 years old. I don't know what Lou's doing. Full of it. So I got a tripod for putting my phone on, and I'm using it for a selfie stick. Oh, I don't like to see that. So anyways, me and Leif built some temporary stairs going up here. And we're pretty much framed up on the exterior walls. I still have to side the front. I'm not going to side it though. I have a beam. I'm going to put a big beam in going across. It's going to go right in here. So I don't want to have to fight the siding when I'm putting that thing up. And then it'll catch on where that plate is. There's an interior wall going right here. So the other end of that beam will go into that wall. I forgot to order all the studs for the interior when I ordered the package, so I had to go back and get those. And you know, we've just been wrapping things up a little bit. I'm fighting that head cold for a while, so I'm doing some short days, you know. But I got the treated plywood around the bottom, and got the lines in here snapped, you know, where everything's gonna be. This will be the bathroom area, and then right in here, that'll be the pantry. It's about 5 feet wide, close to 8 foot deep. And then this area in here, that's going to be the kitchen. So, and then over here will be mine and Charlene's bedroom, and we'll have 3 bedrooms upstairs. We decided to make the house a little bigger. This is the bathroom window. I'm going to lower it. We're gonna come in 4 feet on each corner, and then go out another 8 feet and make an Arctic entry. And it's going to have a 12. It's only going to be single story, and it'll have a 12 pitch as well. And I'm afraid that the tails of that roof are going to come into this window here, and I don't want to look out a window and see fascia, you know. So this window is what that standard height they call it, you know, 6 foot 10.5. So I can lower it a few inches and still be just fine. But yeah, we need more room already. We're not even done building. But yeah, we'll have an 8 foot by 16 foot Arctic entry out here. Like I said, it'll have the same 12 pitch as the upper roof. I'm gonna put king trusses on the outside of the fascia on both ends. This side will have 2, and then the lake side will just have 1. It's just kind of a cool looking detail. I'm gonna build it out of the same wood that our deck is gonna be that treated red treated wood that kind of been around for a while. I'm gonna use that to make the king trusses as well, and that'll give us a little contrast on our color scheme, or however you want to say it. So, but yeah, everything's going all right. You know, we're gonna I'm gonna take a break after I gotta frame up all these interior walls, and then I gotta build the stairs before I even go up, because I don't want to go up and down the ladder too much. So I'm gonna throw the stairs in. They're gonna go right here. They're gonna come up right over in there somewhere. They're gonna come up. There'll be a landing, and I'll throw 3 stairs into the landing, and then it'll shoot back up this way. And I'll put some temporary treads on them while we're in the construction mode. And then when we're all done, I'll pull those off. And you know, I want a nice shiny finished wood look in here. So the stairs will be they'll be all nice, you know, sanded and stained wood. I feel that, like, when you have your stairs in like the main area of a house, and if it's a small place like this is, you know, and I'm gonna put the wood stove right in the corner of the stairs, kind of, you know, it'll be offset a little bit this way. So that whole corner, I want it to look really good. You know, I want it to catch your eye. And it's going to be a small space, so it'll be affordable for me to really doll it up, dress it up, you know, make it look really nice, have a nice wood accent. I haven't decided what I'm going to put behind the wood stove yet. We could go down to Turnagain Arm and get some Hope stone and bring it up, and I could put stone behind it. Or I like to, I go down to the place where I get my metal roofing, and I can get it before they bend it, you know, into the roofing panels, and it's just a flat sheet, and they have a shiny copper penny metal that I really like. So I might do that behind the stove. I don't know yet. You know, all kinds of options. It's beautiful out. A little bit cloudy, but it's nice and warm, and you know, we're doing all right. I have a hard time not judging my building speed by how we used to frame houses up in the valley. You know, like we were when Settlers Bay was blowing up. Man, I mean, there was so many contractors out there, and we were throwing houses up. Like we were doing, you know, we were framing up and drying in 1,600 foot ranchers with garages in less than a week, you know. So obviously I'm not on that kind of job site now. So, but it's going pretty good, you know. Like once I get these interiors built and the stairs built, I'll just roll out that other set of joists. My upstairs wall is just going to be a little pony wall, and then I'm putting the rafters up, and then I'm ready for metal. So it's going pretty good. But that's an update. I'm still learning how to do all the editing and stuff on this thing. So I know some of my videos, I repeat myself a lot. And then I don't really sometimes I don't put them in the exact order of how they're supposed to be, because I just don't pay attention to that stuff when I'm trying to do the editing. So I'm not trying to get any money off of YouTube. Really, this is just like these videos that I make. It's kind of like how back in the day they did like home movies and stuff, you know. I don't know how long YouTube's going to be around, but maybe when, you know, the kids are older and there's still a YouTube out there or something, and you know, they want to look back on their memories, they can check it out, you know, see what we do, or what we did up the mountain, you know, and what we're doing here on the lake. And then you know, this is a good project, you know. I want to get it finished, and I've been wanting to do this my whole life, build a house with my family. So but also on the same token, we're chomping at the bit to get back up that mountain, because it's just if you've never been in a remote location for any amount of time, it's hard to describe the peace and the tranquility, and just yeah, it's just amazing. And it's not for everybody, I'm sure, but it's definitely for me. I've had a pretty busy life, you know, so I'm ready to just kind of take it easy for a while. And that's pretty much the whole reason why we got that place. It's a moose hunting camp, and it's just an escape, you know. I like to try to do things, you know, like the hard way, kind of, I guess. I like the idea of hauling water and running out of food and having to, you know, survive and forage. All that stuff's very, very exciting to me, you know. I like it. So, that's kind of what we're trying to do up there. And then here, you know, this place, it'll be off-grid. It's not remote. You know, we could drive here with our vehicles, but we're not going to be paying an MEA bill, you know. And because we're on so we don't have any power back here, and we're on a road that's not taken care of by the borough, which is like the county, you know. So our taxes should stay respectful, right? I don't mind paying taxes. I don't want to feel like I'm being disrespected by the amount that they're charging me. So anyways, yeah, that's the update, and I'll have some more video coming as we keep going up and up and up. Take it easy.